everyone, this is Thoreau Smiley, and I'd like you to notice the slightly disproportionate size of my head. Who is with me today?
I am Josh Cece, and if you pull that trigger, I'm going to New York.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm going to need some help determining everyone's strengths and weaknesses.
Are you looking for any synchronized swimmers? I'm Alaric Weber.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you, like all of our shows, by our patrons. And you, too, can be a patron. All you got to do is head over to patreon.com/Harmless Entertainment. We've got lots of bonus content there, including a Star Wars miniseries where we do what we're doing now, but with Star Wars. We have some holiday shows with Josh and Andy. We've got a couple music shows, one where we talk about albums, and a brand new one where we do our America's Top 4 of the week. Yes, Top 4. And of course, our monthly movie episodes. You can get in on the bonus material starting at just $1 a month. So head over there, support the show. It helps us keep the lights on, pays for the cost of doing this because it is not free to host large amounts of content on the internet, despite what your grandma told you. I don't know why your grandma would have told you that.
I keep telling her we pay money.
Grandma has lots of opinions.
She always does.
About podcast.
But this week, we are watching...
Everybody's got a podcast.
Grandma.
This week...
Today's episode, why can't I see everyone's picture on Facebook at once?
This week's episode, why is it when I type oranges into Facebook, it doesn't tell me where to buy them?
And why is everyone telling me to search in Google on my Facebook?
But
Facebook, show me Daniel's wedding pictures.
This week, old people with on Facebook remind me of Scotty in Star Trek 4. Computer, hello, computer.
Speaking into the mouse like it's a mic.
Yes. This week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are watching Unbreakable.
Unbreakable. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Where were you sitting on the train?
Against the window.
In the passenger car?
Yes.
You're certain you were in the passenger car?
Yeah. Where are the other passengers?
Your train derailed. Took a curve too fast. A second train collided with yours after it derailed. The debris spread over 1 mile.
Why are you looking at me like that?
There are 2 reasons why I'm looking at you like this. One, because it seems you are the only survivor of this train wreck. And 2, you don't have a scratch on you.
I know what's going through your mind right now. You're searching for meaning in all of this. Know one thing. 131 people died so you could finally understand the destiny for which you were born. Are you ready for the truth?
Unbreakable, released November 22nd, 2000, a running time of 106 minutes. It cost $75 million. $10 million of that went straight to Shyamalan, M. Night. And the box office, it took in $248 million. So it was a much bigger hit than I remember it being, honestly.
How much did you say the budget was again?
$75 million.
Okay, yeah, that's what I had also. There's a note that at that budget, this cost about almost 3 times more than both the sequels combined.
Oh, wow.
Then both the sequels to this.
Yeah, Split and Glass.
And Glass. Huh. 75 is that's thrifty. I can understand why they did give this guy a blank check after this.
Well, I mean, after Sixth Sense.
they did after Sixth Sense, but I mean, even more so. $75 million, bam.
Well, yeah. I mean, Sixth Sense was one of like the biggest movies of the previous decade. Period. Like it's a top 10 '90s movie, at least as far as like box office and acclaim goes. Whatever anyone's personal feelings on it may be, but
right.
Yeah. So this like. Yeah, they M. Night Shyamalan got $5 million to write. Actually, no, Disney bought the spec script from him for $5 million, and then they paid him $5 million to direct. So, wow. Yeah, and it paid off. 248 is not bad. I remember this being kind of a flop, but I guess that's only in comparison to The Sixth Sense. 248 is pretty good on a $75 million investment.
On a 75, yeah.
Yeah.
But this brings us to the box office top 10 game.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know if you guys have noticed or have listened to any recent episodes, but I've started putting the Jeopardy theme behind it.
Yeah.
That what we're going to do is that for the week of November 22nd, 2000, Al, okay. Josh, and Brian are going to guess where they think Unbreakable opened that week, and then we're going to go through and they're going to guess all the movies by the taglines on Box Office Mojo. So let's start with Josh this week. Josh, where do you think this opened?
Well, I think number one. I know that's not fun. It's boring, but I think it was number one.
Number one. Al, where are you heading?
I was gonna stick it at number two. I don't know. I don't remember there being a big draw to the theaters, but still, it is an M. Night movie. So, yeah, number two.
Okay, number two.
And Price is Right rules. I'm choosing the bottom seven. I'm choosing number three.
Number three.
Well, Al, were we living together at Willard? We didn't really go to movies very often right then. I think that's
2000. Yeah, we might have been at Willard right then.
Yeah, I think there was a reason that we just didn't. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it wasn't on our radar. I remember because I didn't see it at the time. I don't think
I did not see it in the theater. I rented it. I rented it.
I saw it in the theater. I remember being excited for it because Sixth Sense was spoiled for me, and I was like, "Ooh, no one's gonna spoil this shit for me."
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think I saw it in the theater. I don't think I saw it until I actually just bought the DVD and took it home. I took a chance.
Well,
those are the days.
This is definitely the one that it started off like, oh, all his movies are gonna have a twist. Okay.
Yeah, and then that's where the problems began.
Well, yeah.
I don't feel like this twist, spoiler alert, there's a twist. I don't think that this twist is nearly as twisty or egregious or unexpected as any of his other movies. This twist makes perfect sense, and he kind of puts it there in our faces from the very moment that the movie starts. And as a kid, I remember being like, oh, he's clearly the bad guy. This is clearly the bad guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, clearly.
Yeah, it's barely a twist in this go-around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good. I think that's kind of cool because he does have a reputation for being, what a twist.
Yeah.
The Happening made me downright angry.
I have not seen The Happening, by the way. I have not seen any M. Night Shyamalan movie made after The Village. That was the last one I saw.
I've seen Split and Glass.
I saw Glass
Village.
after The Village. Honestly, the first time through, that movie, it got me.
The Village?
The Village got me, where I was just like, motherfucker. Now, that's an interesting thought. And that was about as much as it got me. As a concept, it was interesting.
Adrian Brody did, in fact, go full Simple Jack in that one, though. Unfortunately.
Well, they had William phoning in her.
Oh, God.
He could talk. Yeah. He could talk an hour, but the movie became the the film equivalent of William Hurt.
Yeah.
After a certain point, you're staring at this guy not giving a shit, and you're like, that's where the village is within William Hurt all along.
It's the village we made along the way.
It's terrible.
I don't
It's
think
boring.
I've seen any Shyamalan movie more than once. This is the second time I think I've seen Unbreakable. Maybe the third time. This may be the only one that I've seen more than once.
I've seen this a few times, but it's been quite a while, and I've seen Sixth Sense a few times.
I've seen Signs a few times because I did think that was kind of cute. Maybe I like this director. I don't know.
We'll find out.
Well, so Jude and I have been watching Avatar.
Today's episode of The View.
Jude and I have been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender since it's on Netflix. When we're done with it, we agreed we're going to watch the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. And from what I understand, that's like breathtakingly terrible.
Yeah, I heard that they took the concept of like air or water and fire bending, and they just turned it into racial caste bending.
Yeah.
They just turned everybody into white people.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, yeah, just make them all white. It'll be great. And that is the least of its issues, which is surprising to me. Let us know how it is. I'm very curious because I've heard this discussion play out on the internet for years.
Oh yeah, I've heard how bad it is for quite a long time, but I'm curious. I'm interested to see it for myself. But back to the top box office top 10 game. Just so you guys know, there are 6 movies that opened this week, and only 5 of them made it into the top 10. And opening, the one that did not make it into the top 10 was 102 Dalmatians at number 11.
See, that's just one too many Dalmatians.
That's just one too many. Exactly. Simple math.
That had Glenn Close still, right?
Yeah.
Poor Glenn.
Yeah.
The villain in it. Oh, she did great. I mean, that was great casting.
Yeah.
If that was your bag.
As a matter of fact, it is.
At number 10, male nurse meets his girlfriend's parents before proposing, but her suspicious father is every date's worst nightmare.
I got nipples.
Parents.
Meet the parents.
Yep.
At number 10. Coming in at number 9. Oh, Jesus. After 2 of the devil's 3 sons escape hell to wreak havoc on Earth, the devil must send his 3rd son to bring them back before it's too late.
Little Nicky.
Yeah, Little Nicky.
Hit me in the face with a shovel.
That one's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's so terrible.
That was the first Adam Sandler movie that made me say, not only am I not sure if I don't like Adam Sandler, I think he may be terrible.
Yeah,
I don't know if Adam Sandler likes Adam Sandler watching that movie. I think he did that to himself out of like, I don't like myself. I should make something to show the world how little I like myself. That movie doesn't make sense. I watched it multiple times as a kid to make sense of it and just got more and more disappointed.
And just weird. Sometimes his characters' voices are very uncomfortable.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Or their mental...
Well,
never mind.
This just was the GOAT voice's moment to shine. I don't know if you remember his stand-up comedy CDs from the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was Jim Burr that did the...
I thought that was him with the old man tied me to the car and...
Oh.
Is that Jim Burr? Goat Boy was another...
Yeah, Goat Boy was somebody else. What you're talking about is...
From Sandler's...
Yeah.
Anyways, that movie is so bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. Coming in at number 8, the story of the first African-American U.S. Navy diver and the man who trained him.
Oh, shit. Was this...
This is... I don't remember this movie at all.
That diver movie? Yeah, and it had the old school suit. God, what did they call it? I forgot. Something below the depths or something. Or
no, it's got a super boring name. Men of Honor.
Oh,
that's vague. Yeah,
super vague. Coming in at number 7, a man learns something about himself after an accident.
Is he a white man? He learned something about himself.
After an
Unbreakable?
Yes. A man learns something about himself after an accident.
Number 7, wow.
He's like, I have a peanut allergy, it turns out.
Yes, it opened at 7. Yeah, not a huge hit. I mean, but
Did it peak above that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd
It
have to go
opened
look
at
and see.
7.
I'd have to go look and see what it did the following few weeks.
That's a train wreck.
Yeah. Wow. I don't remember this movie at all. Coming in at number 6, a man switches plane tickets with another man who dies in that plane in a crash. The first man then falls in love with the deceased one's wife.
The Prince and the Pauper?
While you were sleeping with the fishes?
While you were sleeping too.
You
fell back asleep.
while you were sleeping too, still sleepy.
Still sleeping.
Starring
All right,
Ben Affleck and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Isn't this Doors? Something about
No,
Doors.
Sliding Doors. I actually kind of like that one. Sliding Doors. That's
They did a Kimmy episode about that.
Yeah.
My wife had to explain it to me, but yeah, they show different scenarios.
Yeah, where it's
of
like
how things go
yeah,
on.
the timeline splits off. There's like it's kind of like that episode of Community, but
or Rashomon.
yeah, exactly.
with,
Well,
with Gwyneth Paltrow.
but no, Sliding Doors is actually okay. This movie I don't remember at all. It's called Bounce.
Oh,
I guess because the plane bounced. I don't know. Probably not because of that.
I wish, but the world isn't that funny.
Coming in at what are we at? We are at number 5. Wow, this one. Okay, a futuristic action film about a man who meets a clone of himself and stumbles into a grand conspiracy about clones taking over the world.
Is this starring Arnold?
Yes.
Oh God.
Is it a
Not the
Philip
seventh day. It's is
One
it
day
the
less.
seventh day?
One day less.
Sixth day. That's
the
right.
6th day.
And on the 6th
on the
day, he
7th
created
day.
Arnold.
Already
God was like,
arrested.
all these clones, man.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So many
fucking weird
clones.
movie.
Also, so Bounce and the 6th day opened this week also.
Higher than this movie did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
people were like,
Arnold.
Bounce, finally.
Arnold's second to last movie before he became governor. Yeah.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. At number 4, 3 women retrieve stolen voice ID software, use martial arts, tech skills, and sex appeal.
Charlie's Angels?
Yeah. With, what is it, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, and Cameron Diaz?
That should have been like First Wives Club.
Charlie's Angels was number 1 last week. It dropped to 4. Coming in at number 3, I think this is a... No, this is not. I don't know this movie. Egypt is, and ever was, a place of mystery. Many rumors spread around the Great Pyramids of Giza. Here, an old Egyptian is asked by his granddaughter about those mysteries, of which we all heard in one way or the other.
And ...
Was that a riddle? Or was that a description of a movie? What was that?
That's
Yeah,
what,
The
exactly.
riddle of the Sphinx.
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know this movie at all, but it's called Mysteries of Egypt.
Oh,
And it made
very
it
straightforward.
made $21 million this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, coming in at
In the year 2000.
the year 2000. This is the last movie we
Yeah.
can do that for, by the way. Our last.
Says you.
Yeah.
Don't fence me in.
Coming in at number 2. On his visit to Paris, Chucky hopes to find a new mother and keep his father from marrying an evil businesswoman.
Child's Play 4. Oh, I wish.
Right?
Child's
I
Play.
wish.
Child's Play for an American Doll in Paris.
Forget Paris.
Forget. Rugrats in Paris. :
Oh.
the movie.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah.
They made that movie
deserves
like
its spot.
10 years too late, or like 5 years too late, it seems.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because I watched Rugrats as a kid, and they made a movie.
Yeah, it was much later.
Yeah.
They did that with SpongeBob as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's been a number of SpongeBob movies, too. Like, more than
Well,
you think
actually,
there'd
they
be.
did it with The Simpsons most of all.
Oh,
Because,
God.
you know,
So late.
it's funny to be like, because it's like, sure, if you put it out, we'll go
Yeah.
see the SpongeBob
Yeah.
movie.
I'm obviously going to go see it, but that doesn't mean I would have preferred it 15 years ago.
I don't know what I like anymore.
And the number one movie of the week. On the outskirts of town lives a revenge-seeking man who plans to ruin everything for the citizens of this small hamlet.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
Yes. With Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
That's
That was a fall release? That wasn't a Christmas time movie? That's interesting.
November 22nd. They want to give everyone a
Oh,
month.
November. Oh, okay.
It's a month.
I thought we were in September. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie. Ugh.
Yeah.
So I looked up Unbreakable's history. It actually peaked the following week.
Did it get to number one?
No, it was still beat out by The Grinch.
Oh, but it hit 2? It went from 7 to 2?
Yes.
Wow.
Huh.
Word of mouth. The old mouth word.
What did our boys say about it? Did they give it a rousing review that sent people out to the theaters?
I couldn't find.
Compatriots.
I could not find that information on the internet. I mean, obviously, Ebert and Roper were doing reviews. I imagine they did an Unbreakable one, but it does not exist on the internet.
I feel like I might have a memory of Ebert talking about M. Night Shyamalan, but not necessarily this movie. I can't remember.
They
what he was
definitely
talking
did
about.
The Sixth Sense.
I've seen him.
that. I've seen the Sixth Sense one.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, so but that is
I read an Ebert review, presumably from back in the day, just a print version, and he spoke of it favorably.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise
Tarantino is a huge fan of this movie.
me. Yeah.
It's one of his favorites.
Yeah. So that is our box office top 10 of the week. There's no comic origin for this. So Al, you're off the hook this week.
Dope.
As we said, this was written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. So his career is interesting. His very first movie, which he wrote and directed, was called Praying with Anger. This was self-financed, i.e., his parents paid for it when he was in college.
Yeah. There's no shame in that.
No, yeah. And that's a movie about a man with anger issues who goes to India to learn to pray his anger away.
Okay.
I've seen clips. It looks terrible. But it's a student film essentially, so you got to give someone a pass for that. His follow-up to that was called Wide Awake, the very first of his twist movies, predating The Sixth Sense. Wide Awake
And now this was he first introduced the twist, which was a revolutionary dance that nobody else had.
That's right.
You didn't have to move; you could just stand in place, swing your body. Yeah. The twist, the Shyamalan twist. We all remember.
Back in the summer of 1999. So
the fall of 2000. Do the twist.
Okay. So Wide Awake stars Dennis Leary, Dana Delaney, Robert Loggia, and Rosie O'Donnell as a sassy nun.
Naturally.
It was filmed in 1995, but was not released until 1998. He wrote.
People weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
People were not ready for it.
He wrote the script before he wrote and directed Praying with Anger. So this was like the first major thing he wrote, and he sold the script. But
Do you know the twist of that?
Wide Awake, yes. So Wide Awake. I'm just going to quickly read you the Wikipedia description of this because it's crazy. During his 5th grade year, 10-year-old Josh begins a personal search to find answers about life and death. A journey triggered by the passing of his beloved grandfather, Robert Loggia. Josh
Like the actor?
Not the character's name, yeah.
Yeah.
Josh took that really hard. I did.
Josh.
Go ahead.
So I mean, there's a kid, and he's searching for meaning. Like, this is a recurring theme in Shyamalan's work. He attends
in most of literature. Actually.
Okay, yeah, he attends a Catholic, but it's a very specific way, like a very literal, like what is God kind of way. For Shyamalan. Very
literal. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Who are all these dead people? I keep saying.
Is it Robert Loggia?
You wish. Yeah, he is very literal.
Yeah,
it's just Bruce Willis. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Okay, so Josh attends a private Catholic school. The adults in his world have not been able to convince him that his grandfather is in good hands, meaning in heaven, I would assume. So he sets out on a personal mission to find God.
Some grandpas go to hell.
In their varying ways. Grandpa Goebbels. In his varying ways, he is guided on his metaphorical journey by his best friend, Dave, and a Philadelphia Phillies loving nun, Rosie O'Donnell, who teaches at his school. Josh shows doubts about his religion as he questions if God really exists, particularly when Dave is diagnosed with epilepsy, and the moments as Josh experiences his first crush. The twist, Dave was dead all along.
No, really?
Yes. Dave was always dead.
Okay. Wow.
How is this movie received? It
was bad.
Received?
It was critically panned and made no money. It was a flop.
Yeah, because he didn't even show it for 3 years, you were saying, right?
Well, he couldn't get it released. The studio sat on it.
Okay, so it sort of proves that that's really all he came to the table with creatively. And so he immediately, once he was able to, made a bigger budget version of that because that's all he had.
The Sixth Sense is that same thing, except like well shot and with nice cinematography.
Yeah, probably longer.
Yeah, yeah, definitely longer. So he followed this up with The Sixth Sense, which I'm sure we all know how The Sixth Sense did. Anyone not familiar with The Sixth Sense? Snape kills Dumbledore.
I'm glad Haley Joel Osment still gets work, and he usually does in comedies, which is fun.
Yeah,
but it's unfortunate. He's one of those people that it's not that he didn't grow out of his looks. It's his face stayed
the same size,
exactly the same, and he sort of inflated around that.
And I'm convinced his face stayed the same size, even, and his head just got bigger because his face is very small.
That's what I was trying to. Folks at home, I'm doing a face mask right over my palm. Yeah, the face itself.
Yeah. Okay. So Shyamalan followed that up by writing Stuart Little. That same year.
Well, twist or no, does anybody remember having any jump scares or feeling creeped out when they watched The Sixth Sense? Did it have that effect on anybody? Because it intended to.
Yeah, I didn't experience that. And I was junior high school age, I think. Yeah.
When he's caught in the little cabinet, I was like, ooh, that's a little creepy. But yeah, I don't remember it having much effect as a horror movie.
When he's in the tent and the ghost is right next to him, I think I jumped at that.
I think that's the one. Yeah, there was that one moment. Because he's gross looking too, right? He's got like puke on his mouth and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was more shock at his appearance than shock at him being there. I don't know.
Yeah. Just curious.
So
I just don't remember the movie very well.
Sixth Sense?
Yeah, I only watched it one time.
I remember the first time I watched it.
I've seen it a few. I mean, it's not a badly made film. It's not. It's just
it's just not. It's not as clever as I love. What a simpler time.
I remember walking out of the village and thinking, out of watching the movie The Village, and thinking like, I don't need to watch this movie again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if a lot of people think like, I don't need to watch it again because you're not going to, because it's all about that experience of the reveal. Mm-hmm. I wonder how much of that affects his career.
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
So-
Because I'll never see that happening again.
well, I don't know when we do 2008 for a monthly movie.
Oh no.
So he followed that up with Unbreakable, which we'll be talking about today. And then he followed that up with Signs, The Village.
I liked Signs.
Sign.
I don't know. That gave me a jump scare.
Signs was okay. I didn't like it as much as I liked Unbreakable or The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
I do remember the jump scare in Signs on an airplane. I was riding in an airplane watching that, like
Oh, really?
jumping next to people and being kind of embarrassed.
Yeah, when the alien finally walks out of the bushes in the background.
Oh, no, it was only when the alien showed up at the kids' party in Mexico, and the rest
That's
of it,
what
I
I
was like,
meant.
Oh, that.
Yeah, it was news footage, and you're
Yeah.
watching this party, and then bam, out of the top corner,
Yeah.
it
That's the
lumbers out. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other time that you saw like glimpses of the alien, it was like, oh, I know what we're dealing with now.
Right. And then the
Yeah.
twist for that movie is essentially similar to this one. Not to the twist, but to the water and all
Well,
that.
I mean, and again,
He went back to that well, pun intended.
Well, and Signs again is about someone just rediscovering their spirituality, like because he's a
right.
what Gibson is like. What, he was a preacher.
Yeah.
Pastor.
He was
I
a
think
pastor, and he
Methodist or
when his wife
Presbyterian.
died, he lost his faith, and he has to rediscover
Minister.
it.
Man, yeah. M. Night Shyamalan only works with large blocks. There's not a lot of nuance to anything that he does.
Well,
And they seem to be the same.
And he
Yeah.
shoots everything in Philadelphia, by the way. Every single
Really?
movie has been shot in Philadelphia. He had them build, it's his hometown. He had them build,
Patty's Pub.
he had them build a soundstage so he could, in Philadelphia, so he could shoot there. Without,
That's incredible. Yeah. That's a really cool, good for him to do that kind of thing. And and his movies all have a texture or the same kind of feel, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
Not to mention he's the one person making them, but having the same placing that's interesting.
Yeah.
I like
Never
when a
would've noticed.
director does that. Yeah.
Yeah. New York
Because
gets
I
a lot
don't
of
like
time to shine in
sound
movies.
stages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's a fantastical movie. I don't like sound stages. So, yeah.
Well,
That's cool.
the-
If
the
you
la-
choose a city.
The Last Airbender was shot in Philadelphia.
It's awesome.
Like, what's what I'm saying? They've all been shot in Philadelphia.
So the airbender runs up the rocky steps.
Um,
Dun, 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 dun.
He followed Signs with Village, the movie that gave us Bryce Dallas Howard as Little Opie. I don't know.
Right. Lil Nepotiz.
Yep. They discovered her at a bat mitzvah.
Yeah, right. Discovered her. In Ron Howard's wife's uterus.
That was followed by Lady in the Water with my bro Paulie G. Paul Giamatti.
Wasn't it Splash? He just sort of remade Splash?
No. Oh God. Have you seen Lady in the Water?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, so Lady in the Water. Oh my God. I don't even know where to start with that. Okay. There's say
it.
Okay, so there's an apartment complex in Philadelphia. And a
There's
woman,
a lady in the water.
yes,
Familiar.
out of the pool comes a woman who
I did see this movie.
who is from
I
a
know.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
who is
I
from
know what it
who is
is.
from a mystical magical land.
Oh.
And let's see. Paul Giamatti is the superintendent, and he discovers her in the swimming pool. Gradually, he and his neighbors learn that she's a water nymph, or a narf, whose life is in danger from a vicious wolf-like mystical creature called a scrunt that tries to keep her from returning to her watery blue world. M. Night
That's something
Shyamalan.
I'd rather.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan is the third build actor in this. He has like 30 minutes of screen time. And once again, they go around and some people like don't believe it and some people do. And then in the end, it turns out it's true. And your faith in the spiritual is rewarded.
Oh. So she was a narf all along?
She was a narf all along.
Or she was a MILF? She was... Then she was a Garf, which is like somebody who dresses like Garfield.
That hates Mondays, eats lasagna.
Yeah, exactly. Full role play, full on.
Yeah, Lady in the Water might be his craziest shit ever.
What year did that come out?
That came out in 2006.
Yeah, I saw that movie. That's insane. You said the lady in the pool at the apartment complex, and I went like, yeah, I have visual memories of that movie just being balls.
Yeah, I may have seen it. My wife would know, but I didn't. Yeah, wow, Narf.
Yeah,
I would have remembered Narf.
The Narf and the Narf and the Scrunt.
Is that the sound that the cat and Thundercat used to make?
Narf.
You'd be like,
Narf. Yeah.
Scrunt.
He followed that up 2 years later with The Happening, starring Mr. Mocky Mac, which was apparently trees are bad or good, and we're bad. Plants
are out to get us.
I knew it.
That's what's happening.
Wasn't that a Stevie Wonder album?
Plants are out to get us.
Plants are out to get us.
This Magical Life of Plants.
Yeah. I'm talking. Yeah.
He followed that up with The Last Airbender. And that he followed up with After Earth. Actually, I saw that one. With Will and Jaden Smith for 2 hours on a soundstage.
He did that movie too?
Yes.
Oh. But they were in Philly.
Yeah, they shot it in Philly. He shoots everything in Philly.
Oh man, that's incredible. I'm just gonna go back and watch his movies just so I can like look for parts of Philly that I recognize.
Right. He followed After Earth up with The Visit, which I've heard is actually it looks like a very small. I've heard it's pretty good.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah,
the kids that go to their grandparents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
isolated farm. Yeah, that plays with some themes that are creepy.
Yeah, that's kind of his return to horror. And I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's very good. Well, I've heard it's good. I don't know about very good.
It's good. It's palatable.
And then after that, Split, which was the surprise sequel to Unbreakable.
It's a pretty good movie, but I think that's all James McAvoy and the women that are in it. Sorry, I don't know those actors' names, but it's a good movie, but I don't think it has a lot to do with what M. Night
was all about. We will be covering that.
Split personnel.
Yeah, we will be covering that as it does take place in this superhero universe. That's down the road a ways. And then Glass was his most recent movie, which was a very straight up sequel to this and Split.
Yep.
So yeah, that's Shyamalan in a nutshell. This movie starred Mr. Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Best known for his debut album, The Return of Bruno from 1987, and some Seagram's commercials.
I had that on vinyl.
No, we know where we first saw Bruce Willis.
Klausy Baby? That's my first memory.
Moonlighting for sure. But no, I just want to point out his debut album was called The Return of Bruno.
Just like Bane, The Revenge of Bane. Yeah. Bane number 1.
Definitely Moonlighting's where I first became aware of him. And then Die Hard. And after Die Hard, he was like, I'm out of here, Madison.
Yeah.
Let's see. He did The Last Boy Scout, Pulp Fiction, 12 Monkeys. That's Terry Gilliam. That was a great one. Fifth Element. That was a lot of fun.
That is a good movie. Yeah.
The Jackal, Armageddon, Mercury Rising, Sixth Sense, Sin City, Red, Expendables 2. So here's the story on Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis puts out around 2 to 3 movies per year now, and they're all him in they're all straight up like Go America, straight to streaming like this, like movies that your 65-year-old uncle watches.
Like the Steven Seagal
pattern? Kind of like that, but he always plays like the general or like the sergeant.
Well, sure, yeah. Not under siege.
Yeah.
He can't be under siege.
Exactly. And he got kicked out of the Expendables because
because he wasn't
because of Yoko.
Sorry,
No,
Yoko Willis.
he got kicked out of the Expendables because he was the only one who refused to take a cut on his salary in order to be with all the other action stars from the 80s. Stallone and Schwarzenegger, everybody was like working for like scale or like a cut or something,
Right.
but he refused. He was like, no, $2 million per movie, period.
I mean, honestly, I don't mess with somebody's money, and that's like making a movie is not a charitable thing. Those guys don't need to make that movie. I can't fault him for making that decision.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, it's a dick move. We can call it what it is. But yeah, I agree. It's not show fun, show good time, and show business.
This movie is the third movie in which Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis star opposite each other. Pulp Fiction, Die Hard with a Vengeance, and this bad boy.
Actually, it's the fourth.
What was the other one?
There was also Loaded Weapon 1 in 93.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Wait,
Spoof.
Bruce Willis was in Loaded Weapon 1?
That's what IMDb told me.
He was a snort.
Huh.
Nerf.
This
Just a
movie
water
also,
nymph. We'll just call him a water nymph from here on out.
So
this movie also marked Bruce Willis's transition from his previous hairstyle with the receding hairline to the all bald look.
Yeah.
That he would adopt from here on out. The one exception being 12 Monkeys, where he was all bald. He was shaven.
Yeah.
But prior to that, even in like in The Sixth Sense, he had the
wig.
I don't know.
It was a toupee, definitely.
This is Bruce Willis at his most Homer Simpson, I think. He just looks like a regular guy.
Totally looks like a regular guy. Yeah.
Like a thumb.
Yeah, he looks like a human thumb.
I would like to point out that after Die Hard with a Vengeance, all the Die Hard movies stopped being R-rated and went to PG-13. So if you watch any of them after that one, he never once says yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. He says yippee-ki-yay, mother explosion.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Al's frozen.
Yeah.
Is you for you? Oh, there you go.
I don't know what's more offensive, excessive violence or a curse word.
Right.
Yeah, that is funny. The explosion instead of fucking.
Yeah. Like, oh, who knows how many people just died, but
I don't want to have to explain to my kid what fuck means.
Yeah.
Just kill everyone in the room.
It'll totally fuck up our experience. As we said, Sammy Jackson, Mr. Motherfucker himself, is
the hardest working man in show business.
He is the highest grossing actor of all time.
Fucking A.
Are you kidding me? That's amazing. Good for him.
Well, okay, look at this. The prequels, the
Star Wars,
the MCU. Let's see. Jurassic Park.
Tarantino.
All the Tarantino ones. Kong Skull Island, which I.
Or Kong.
But I mean,
Kong hired him.
I don't think there's an argument for anybody else.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. No, there isn't.
Nobody else has been in that many franchises that are that profitable.
There was a time when a mysterious writer named Nicolas Cage roamed the lands.
Yeah.
But that's been a long time. Yeah. Samuel L.
It was around this time, I believe in 2001, they debuted the redesigned Nick Fury in comics for the Ultimate Marvel Universe.
Yes.
And he was redesigned specifically to look like Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, they dropped Hasselhoff from Baywatch to...
Right. He was in the Nick Fury movie.
Yeah.
He was.
And Sam Jackson read comics at that point in time and did not... I don't think they even asked him. I think that they just changed his face and he found it in a comic book because he fucking reads comic books.
Right.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that from the very beginnings of like the Avenger movies coming out. We'll get to that.
Now that's Nick Fury.
I can't remember if I mentioned this on air before or not, but there's the famous story about how he wanted the purple lightsaber
Yeah.
He wanted in episode 1. Well, I guess it probably would have been episode 2. We didn't see his lightsaber in episode 1, but the famous story was like he asked for it, but I recently saw that was actually captured on video. And he literally just walks up to George Lucas and says, "So what's the deal with the lightsaber colors?" And George says, "Well, there's basically red for the bad guys and blue or green for the good guys." And Samuel Jackson said, "What about purple?" I guess some could be purple." And that was it.
We haven't heard the Lucas voice in a while.
Wow. It's a miracle that Samuel L. Jackson didn't just all of a sudden go like, "Oh, I'm just going to direct this movie. I'm just going to start making suggestions to this guy the whole time."
Oh, yeah.
He's just that easily sure.
I was going to say, yeah, I bet it's easy to muscle George Lucas.
Yeah.
I bet it's
And
really easy.
it was simply because it was Sam Jackson's favorite color.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they gave him a lot of purple in this movie, too.
They did, and that's something. Okay, so Shyamalan stated he's specific. If you notice, everything is color coded. Beside, despite the fact that the movie is heavily unsaturated, it has that turn of the millennium thing going on where they take all the color out of most of it. It's all kind of just grayish blue. But yeah. So
didn't Spielberg do that really? For the Schindler's List.
Well, he took out all the color in Schindler's List, but
except for the little girl in the red coat.
Yeah, the red coat. But no, Saving Private Ryan was actually the first movie that was heavily popularized it. That popularized it. Anyways, it's not the first movie that did it, but
Oh, I only mention this because I remember around this time I tried to find it and I didn't, but. M. Night gave sort of an interview where he said basically like Oasis did with their, we're as big as the Beatles kind of thing. He claimed that he, Hitchcock, and Spielberg were the three people that knew the secret, the golden secret to filmmaking. So,
and apparently Shyamalan only got half the secret. Because...
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He should have picked up to hire a script writer or something, like somebody else to write your stories for you.
Well, and you can see Spielberg and Hitchcock over his movies, and sometimes it's not. It doesn't. Sometimes it's appropriate and looks really nice. But yeah, the kid thing.
Yeah,
it's like I'm sorry, I don't know what it is about Spielberg and either the children that he chooses or the way he directs them. But M. Night's trying to always force some kid. I did not like the kid in this.
No,
movie.
the kid in this was pretty terrible. And he literally looked like he was out of a Spielberg movie from the early '80s with that fucking mop haircut. Which the
his face, he looked like one of the busted up friends though.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have been the lead in a Spielberg.
No. He was the next door kid. That
Yeah. He's in the pack on the BMX bikes, but he's not.
Yeah,
we don't know his name.
But yes, everyone was color coded in this. Bruce Willis was always wearing green and yellow. Sam Jackson was purple, and then each of the bad guys had their own color too. With the most obvious being the final bad guy was orange. Yeah. But this movie also starred Robin Wright Penn. She first gained national attention as her role in the soap opera Santa Barbara.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the mid '80s. And of course, the first place I saw her was The Princess Bride as Princess Buttercup.
Lovely.
Yeah. After that, Forrest Gump.
Yeah, like that movie should be called 40-Year Friend Zone.
Yeah, for sure. She was in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. She was in Wonder Woman. We'll be seeing her again, and Wonder Woman 1984 if it ever gets released. Thanks 2020, and Blade Runner 2049. Over the last 10 years, she has been starring as. It's not been 10 years. It just feels like 10 years. The last 5 years, she's been starring as Claire Underwood in the Netflix political drama House of Cards with He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Yeah, and she is fantastic on that. Yeah,
she is.
It's really a shame what happened.
Yeah.
It's a shame what happened to the victims of Kevin Spacey, but it's also a shame for her as an actor because those were just fantastic.
Well, and she
was really good.
She kept doing it. So in my
I know, but I can't.
I dropped out after the second season, so I didn't even see that far. But apparently he dies in the show, and she just becomes president, which I'm not sure how that works. But
there's a lot of machination to get her into the VP slot. So I watched up until his whole world came crumbling down, and I was like, well, I'm out. It'd be interesting to watch how they tried to recover the ending, though. I did not hear good things. Although she was phenomenal the entire time.
Yeah, she was.
Spencer Treat Clark plays the kid with the stupid haircut we were just talking about. He was also in Gladiator this same year. He was in Mystic River, Last House on the Left in the 2009 version, Much Ado About Nothing, the 2012 version, and he returns to play, what's his name, like Jeremy, Jeffrey, something like that? Joseph. He returns to play Joseph in 2019's Glass.
That's right. Yeah, it's the same actor.
Yes.
He did 8 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
As Werner von Strucker.
Yeah, first season. Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson makes some cameos in the
okay.
season too.
Huh.
Yeah. That's interesting.
This movie, I couldn't find Siskel and Roper or Ebert and Roper on lines, but I don't know, so we didn't do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's about all we got for the run up to this. Fellas, we want to jump in this movie?
Yeah,
let's get in the pool.
Let the staring get in the pool.
They say this one has a surprise ending.
He's dead. Samuel Jackson's dead. Okay, here we go. This is Unbreakable. We open.
Can you just play the Kimmy Schmidt theme song?
No, I'm going to definitely get that clip. I'm going to record it.
It would make a fascinating transition.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's all I've been thinking this whole week.
Unbreakable. Yeah, I've said it every time.
Yeah, every time.
Every time.
To myself.
We open.
So the comic book statistics that they open with.
Yeah, we open with statistics, much the way that the Phantom Menace opened with trade negotiations.
Okay. Also, if you're going to put statistics on screen, you should have a fucking reference. There was no reference. It's just a made-up statistic. It's just some made-up numbers.
Yeah, this does not reach Wikipedia standards.
Yeah.
Well, why couldn't it have been a charming little paragraph about our fascination with comics and superheroes? Yeah, instead it's just
Yeah, some Joseph Campbell quote or something.
Yeah. Why we look to these
like some crime statistic style comic book statistic.
Right. I didn't know if he was for or against.
Yeah.
You know
it's
that you know that 75% of statistics are just made up.
I don't know. I heard it was like 60. 50.
Yeah, no, he's just presenting facts to us. We can come to our own conclusions as far as he's concerned.
Entitled to your own opinion, boys, but not your own facts.
I'm just a kid from Philadelphia. Do what you want with these numbers.
Yeah, and what it starts. We start off with the title card, West Philadelphia, and I was like, I'm sorry. The only thing I could think of was Born and Raised.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe that Mr. Glass is the Fresh Prince.
Yeah. Go back. There's clues.
So, yes, we cut to a Philadelphia department store in 1961. A woman has given birth in a changing room. A doctor is called. He examines the baby. Its arms and legs are broken. It happened in the mommy's tummy.
That's back when baby delivery areas in department stores were segregated.
Oh my God.
They were they were downstairs from the lunch counter.
I couldn't help thinking how those white ladies probably wouldn't have been that nice in 1961.
Yeah. I thought the same thing.
Yeah. Then we get some credits. and Bruce Willis is on a train.
We learned the little baby's name is Elijah.
Yeah, his name's Elijah. So Bruce Willis on a train. Okay, so at this point, the terrorists attack the train, and he can't get off the train.
Yeah, so he crawls into the overhead compartments. He goes car to car through those.
He's like, take a train. It'll get you there fast. It'll be fun.
Like, of course I took my shoes off at my seat. Why didn't I put my shoes on before I went to the bathroom?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, where did my shirt go?
And you're right. A lot of staring. I didn't realize it until you guys mentioned it earlier. The staring begins. The little girl staring at him. They're staring at her.
There's
him staring out the window.
Yeah, there is tons. And this script must have been 10 pages long because
with no words. Yeah.
Speaking of the script, I saw a factoid that this movie only used the first third of the original script.
Huh.
Wait.
He just got to a point. He got a third of the way through and just like, yeah, it's all tight. And he said that he didn't really identify as much with the second 2/3.
I feel like it ends abruptly, so that sort of makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though for him to write the script and then not identify with 2/3 of what he just wrote.
Right.
Yes.
I feel that sometimes.
Right, but then you didn't go ahead with your 75 mil.
Right.
You were like, maybe I'll revisit that.
Down the road after my career dips dangerously low.
Second movie out, he was bored with his own formula.
Oh man. Okay, so yeah, a woman sits next to him. He takes off his wedding ring to flirt with her. It does not work out. We learn his name is David Dunn, and he's afraid of water. So it's got that superhero thing of the alliteration of the first and last name: Peter Parker, Clark Kent, Bruce Banner, David Dunn. The train begins to pick up some dangerous speed. Then we cut to a young boy, Joseph, at home in Philadelphia. He sees a news report about a derailed train and realizes it's the one his dad was on.
Yeah, so he doesn't show, it's all off camera.
Yeah.
Which is, interesting choice, I suppose.
Honestly, that and the fact that he's coming from New York to start are interesting to me. Yeah. They're unique movie beats to open on.
It's very well made. I feel like this is a filmmaker who understands the language of cinema.
Oh yeah, he's one of 3 people. Apparently.
Yeah, right.
And we're lucky to have him.
That's right.
I wonder what happened to this dude, because I mean, sure, he had like a bag of tricks. I don't feel like he ever was reaching Spielberg levels, even at the height of his powers.
No.
But he showed a lot of promise.
Yeah,
sure.
So all right. So David awakes in a hospital and is told by the guy who ends up being the crazy murdering assistant on House of Cards, but is playing a doctor this time, that he's
that guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Doug Stanhope.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not the actor's name, but that's the character's name.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
At first, it was he was far enough away that I couldn't tell if it was him or what's his face, Agent Coulson. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, they both do. They deliver emotions pretty well too. There was a lot in that line.
Yeah.
Surviving some questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bruce Willis was not harmed by the train crash. In fact, he's the only survivor. He leaves and has to do the walk of shame down the hallway with all the people there. Why are they in the hospital? All their family members are dead. I guess that's where the bodies would be. Yeah.
They knew there was one survivor. That's how I read it. So everybody was there to see who the one survivor was.
Oh.
And they were very disappointed to see it was not their loved one or whatever.
Mm.
Right. Yeah, there would be people in different stages of dying in trauma,
Yeah.
Well,
I would imagine.
Well, they said it was just the one other guy, and he was dying as they were talking.
Wow.
There's a really the cool shot with when the doctor is talking to David. We see the the other passenger, like just his torso in the foreground, and the blood stain slowly gets larger and larger.
Yes. That was
a very, very comic book shot where you would have like several panels of, basically the same shot and then something going on in the foreground like that.
Yeah. No. This movie was very much shot like a comic book. Everything was framed very panel-like. Frames within frames.
A lot of Dutch angles.
Yeah.
To speak to his Hitchcock love. But yeah,
absolutely.
But done pretty well. Done, yeah.
Yeah, very well directed. So he goes out in the hallway, greets Joseph and his wife Audrey. We see there's some tension between he and her, and they walk out where the press is waiting for them. That night at home, he's still shook from the accident. We discover that he and his wife are separating. He was in New York interviewing for a job, and if he gets it, he's going to move there. He's going to move there anyways, even if he doesn't get it, but it'll just take longer. Not much to say about all this. Some days later, David is at a memorial for the train crash victims, and he finds a note on his car asking how many days of his life he's been sick. It has the address of an art gallery on it. Then later, at his job as a security guard at a football stadium, he asks his boss to check how many 6 days of sick leave he's taken. He discovers he's never taken any. His boss assumes he's being passive-aggressive and gives him a raise.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, you got to ask for that raise. You just got to tell them.
Yeah.
Where's my money?
Yeah, I love the boss that, doesn't even know how to bluff.
Right.
Negotiation.
He's like, all right, I'll give you 40, 50, 80. Shut up. I quit.
40's great. Thanks.
So then that night he asks his wife if she remembers him ever being sick, but she does not. Then we cut back to West Philly, 1974. Elijah Price. The baby from the intro is now a young lad. He has a medical condition that causes bones to be very brittle and break often. His mother uses comic books as a bribe to get him to leave the house.
So that's one of those fun camera angles that he does with the comic book.
Yeah.
It's upside down, and but the camera turns as he turns the book. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, that was.
Visual.
Yeah.
And
I wish their fake comic books looked better.
Their fake comic books look pretty bad.
Yeah.
They look very fake. I wish they could have used real comic books, honestly. I don't know.
And if not that, a better art,
Yeah.
Yeah. Get somebody to moonlight. Yeah.
So let's see. 26 years later, Elijah owns an art gallery that specializes in comic book art. David and Joseph show up and discover that Elijah is the one that put the note on David's windshield. Elijah thinks David might be a real-life superhero. David...
The scene when we first see the comic book shop, he's showing off an original drawing to the guy, and he's all ready to do the sale, and then finds out it's just for his 4-year-old kid. And just like, no, do you see any Teletubbies in here?
Teletubbies.
I asked, do you see any Teletubbies in here, motherfucker?
Say what one more time?
Does Marcellus Wallace look like a Teletubby?
Yeah. So I was torn on that. It was badass for the character. It's like, ooh, he is a villain. Maybe who's this fella? But at the same time, it's like, well, maybe it's an investment. You see them as pieces of art, so
Well, and this dude, he's buying a piece of framed art for the kid's wall. It's not like the kid's going to be paging through like a $20,000 comic book.
Right. Yeah, everybody hands their kid a framed picture. Here, go play.
Right.
Yeah.
Just makes me think of Jay-Z bought his daughters some like $1 million pieces of art. It was like the most incredible thing ever.
Yeah.
God.
That's brilliantly intelligent.
Seriously. Like
bars of
Gauss
gold
in
or
her
something.
bedroom and shit. Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's what I would have countered to Mr. Elijah Glass.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I can afford to spend thousands of dollars on a picture for my 4-year-old's bedroom, perhaps I know a little better than to hand him this.
Right. I invest in objects.
My son's going to go berserk.
Yeah.
That's not
Eat
reassuring.
it. He's gonna smash the glass and eat
He's
it.
just gonna eat.
The
Classic
glass.
little kid.
And I let him eat the glass. How else is he going to learn?
That was Maurice
I meant eat
Sindak's
the
highest
drawing.
praise. He sent a kid something and he ate it. The parent sent him a letter saying like he ate it. He was so happy. I love that.
Yeah. He saw it. He liked it. He ate it.
That's definitely your biggest fan.
Absolutely.
Totally. I want it to be a part of me.
We all saw Red Dragon, right?
Oh God.
Right?
He saw it. He liked it. He ate it.
Yes.
So, David thinks Elijah's trying to scam him, so he and his son leave. What was the deal with the water? Don't take another drink of that water. Did he think it was spiked or something?
Well, perhaps. Yeah. He was like, wait a minute. This guy is not what he seems. But it's funny. He's like, I've seen guys like you all the time in my job. It's like, really? Like con men? There's only one kind of con men at stadiums.
Bruce Willis met this man. He met Mr. Glass. He went to his shop with his son. He has the ability to read people's like experiences and shit. He didn't go like, "Oh, I got a letter from you. Let me shake your hand and touch him." I don't know.
Yeah,
that's to me. That's a Shyamalan-sized hole.
Well,
Yes.
Not clearly.
Size hole.
he did. How big is that?
You can only shove one thing into that hole.
Oh God.
He's not really yet aware of that particular ability as an ability.
Well, but I mean, he's clearly like it's like late.
Yeah.
If he shakes people's hands, he seems to get like if you're evil, he gets a bad vibe. It's a little pleased.
I find it hard to believe that
murder scene or whatever.
I think so I understand people being blind to like being purposefully blind to aspects of themselves in order just to get through daily life, but I feel like he's like really willingly wanting, like he has to go to a lot of effort to be blind as to his personal abilities. I feel like like getting the bad vibes from people never having been sick or hurt himself, like people who haven't been sick for a long time are constantly be like, I haven't been sick in 2 years. Like they're insufferable about that
like
shit.
People who don't own a television.
Yeah, exactly.
I eat cans of beets and fried food all the time. Yeah.
Fit as a fiddle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He doesn't know how much weight he can lift.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
Yeah. Again, dudes that lift weight know exactly
how much weight they can lift. Exactly.
Which right on. Not bagging on that, but yeah. Bruce Willis is like, I wonder
the level of ignorance his character has around his own ability to do normal human things.
And I'll wait till we get to that scene, but I have some issues with the weightlifting scene. So that night, David's looking through old newspaper clippings about his accidents. So he kept newspaper clippings about these and never thought like how unusual all of this is to put together. His wife comes to his bedroom, tells him she wants to give their relationship another try.
But she wants to start over from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand wanting to re-spark that energy, but that's a bullshit trip. It's like, you want me to forget 30 years of you? And you're going to do the same for me?
Right. Yeah.
Let's give that a go.
Let's see how that works out.
Healthy place to start. Yeah.
No, it's not. No, they're, it's not going to work out.
I get the feeling that she might have been with someone.
Oh, interesting.
Well, because she asked him that question as the entree to...
And she says 3 times, the answer won't affect me. But then when he says no, she like starts crying.
Yeah.
Fucking Shyamalan.
That's a good
not
point,
subtle at all. Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah, she was hoping that he had also been to absolve her.
Yeah.
I see.
Okay, so
but I like that they never really throw that right in your face and mention it
Twist,
Right?
twist.
again. Like we did last summer.
The last chick he hit on died in a train crash.
Let's twist again like we did last summer was the tagline for this because it came out 1 year after The Sixth Sense.
Come on, let's twist again.
Okay, so the next day Elijah visits David at work at the football stadium. There's a game, and as they walk and talk, David bumps into a guy and gets the feeling he has a gun. Elijah thinks it may be more than a feeling. It may be psychic abilities. The guy leaves. Elijah follows. The gunman is hard to catch up with, and Elijah falls down some stairs, breaking his leg. However, he does catch a glimpse of the man's gun, confirming David was correct.
So I would probably fall down those stairs. Those steps.
Yeah, those were some scary steps.
Yeah.
Why does this man have a glass cane? Why does he not have a plexiglass cane?
Right.
He's all my life is drama.
Or a
Literal
motherfucking
glass.
acrylic cane, Mr. Glass.
It's like
they call you Mr. Glass because you do dumb shit like carry a glass cane, motherfucker. That's why.
They don't call me
like the resin.
Yeah.
They
don't call me Mr. Plexiglass. They call me Mr. Glass.
Yeah, which I don't think is all that offensive of a nickname. First of all, I know kids can be mean.
It is pretty cool if your bones do break, like.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have sort of, I would have embraced it myself.
Well, and they didn't.
Being 9 years old and people call you Mister right off the bat.
They didn't call him like Bitchy McGlass. It was Mr. Glass.
Glass boy.
Do you think he wore those suits and like an ascot when he was a kid? Like he was planning on being a villain the whole time? He's like, Mom, I need you to get me tailored pink and purple, everything.
You got it.
Is there any way you can get me a unitard?
Like, you really like those comic books. Yeah.
I would have leaned into it hardcore.
Supposedly the glass cane was Jackson's idea.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I just threw it out to M. Night.
And it's like, it should be purple.
Incredibly dramatic.
Yeah. He had to tell the guy who wrote the script about the character named Glass that this should be Glass. He's like, wow, whoa. Awesome. Sam, yeah.
Apparently the secret to filmmaking is to like steal the ideas of your cast and crew. So David arrives home, finds his son playing football. They go down into their basement, and David lifts weights, discovering he's freakishly strong. So, what kind of guy is like, stick a whole bunch of weights on your son? I won't look while you do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where is he looking?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
His
neck not
He's
turned?
staring into camera because that's what he does in this movie.
Well, and how is this kid lifting anything? The cans of paint I'll buy. But how is that little kid lifting any of those weights?
Yeah, like a 25-pound plate.
25 or
yeah. There's no way. The 5s and 10s maybe, but there's no way he's getting those 25s on there.
Certainly not fast enough to not have them tip. He's a horrible spotter. He's a tiny little fucker.
Yeah.
He's standing all the way over the other side of the room.
Well,
worst spotter in the business.
In comic book movies, you normally get the character like lifting a fucking car. He's just lifting plates, and he's like 350 pounds. What else do we have? Like, cool.
What did he start
We got to pump
with?
those numbers up.
He thought that, like, his personal idea was that he could lift, what, 220?
Probably, like, yeah.
No, he says it. He guesses.
Well, Yeah. It's around there, and then he does 250 at first, and he's like, that was too much weight, son. So 250 was like way over what he normally does, and he ends up at 350.
He's like, no, Dad, that weight bench has been closed for 30 years.
I can see his son's
and
just
then
like
the kid starts asking him if he could fight Bruce Lee.
Yeah, right. And it's like, it's 2000. Does this 8-year-old know who Bruce Lee is?
Well, has anybody told him that Bruce Lee is dead?
Right.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
Like, what if he doesn't kick?
He's like, okay, what about Brandon Lee? What, him too?
What if he has no arms and legs? What if he's in a really weird place?
Yeah, emotionally.
What if he doesn't have the right shoes?
I wanted him to get like all aggro on him, be
What
like,
about that, Dad?
and be like, lift those weights, you little bitch.
I could beat your ass.
Okay. So meanwhile, Elijah is in the hospital. His leg was broken in 14 places, and he's going to be in a wheelchair for months. He's doing physical.
Not that long.
He's doing physical therapy, and somehow his physical therapist is Audrey, David's wife. That's a coinky dink.
Yeah.
And
Did
Elijah.
not know that's what she was. That was her line of work.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a real big. He's like, this works out so well for me plot wise.
Yeah. Did he know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
think so.
Yeah. So Elijah tells Audrey his theory about David, and well, so how did he even know? So he says, "Oh, your husband David," but how did he know that was David's wife?
Because he had been following her. Maybe he got his legs broken on purpose because he's a super genius.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah.
I think that was the implication. Like once he got there, it was like, oh, we were supposed to be like, oh, he let his legs get broken on purpose.
But then that
okay.
didn't.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Okay, but then the thing with Audrey leads to nothing. Her being aware of him leads to nothing plot-wise.
I don't think that he broke his legs on purpose, but he definitely was doing his research and keeping tabs on that whole family.
Yeah.
Sure.
After his survival.
He found out, survived. Yes. Yeah.
All right, so Elijah tells Audrey his theory about David and gets her to tell him about the car accident that ended David's football career. Meanwhile...
Yeah, apparently Elijah's superpower is getting people to talk.
Yeah.
And research.
Yeah. Because she starts off just like, I don't feel comfortable talking about this, and then jumps into the full story.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I can't believe I'm telling you about this. All right, so when I was a little girl, there was a sailor.
I'll do anything to help you heal.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean anything.
I broke my wrist recently, and that was always a part of the physical therapy. Talking about our pasts. Talking about our pasts in mysterious ways. So he was in a car accident?
Yeah,
yes. He survived? Uh-huh.
Tell me more. Nescafe. At work, David tests out his psychic powers, but he gets it wrong when he tries to bust a drug dealer. And then, like, he sees him and the other dude talking, so I guess he passed off the drugs or something. It was unclear what they were trying to say.
Happened.
Yeah,
something happened, right?
Yeah.
Well, and it was M. Night Shyamalan. He was clearly just directing a movie. He was just racially profiling him. Yeah.
He was just going to have himself just go through the line normally as if it were a regular game. But Samuel L. Jackson's like, what if it seems like you're up to something? He's like, that's good. That's a good note.
This was just going to be a movie about a guy and his marriage falling apart. He was like, but what if he has powers? What if he's unbreakable?
Whoa. You're blowing my mind right now.
So before he brushes up against the movie's director, he brushes up against like a mother and child.
Oh yeah,
and has a brief flash about like child abuse. Yeah. And that is said to be Kevin Crumb and his mother.
Kevin Crumb?
Kevin Crumb is James McAvoy in Split.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I mean, they may have, I don't know if they retconned that or just if he had it in mind the whole time, but.
I think the former, but that's interesting. Okay.
Okay, nice, huh? Okay, so so he gets called to school. That he gets a call that his son's been hurt. He arrives there to find that Joseph's been in a fight. The teacher was his old teacher. She reminds him that he nearly drowned when he was a kid. Joseph tells David that he thought he might have powers too. David tells Joseph that he's just a regular person, not a hero.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to jump back with the drug dealer, the potential drug dealer. When he had the vision, there was the handoff of the drugs in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was wearing a different color than when David Dunn confronted him.
I thought so.
So yeah, when we see him in present time, he's wearing that bright blue jacket, but in the vision, he did not have any blue on him.
Right.
So I was thinking,
the guy
like,
in the. Go ahead.
I was thinking so that might have been a vision of a different day, like it didn't happen that day. So maybe he was still on his way to pick up the drugs. That's why he didn't have the drugs on him yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Kind of thing.
Did they do a similar thing, or did he do a similar thing with the guy in the camo jacket? I felt like when we saw him later, or when Elijah was following him, there was orange in his jacket, which hadn't been there. Earlier.
Yeah,
There was it was orange inside the jacket, I believe.
The camo jacket looked a little different from when he was standing in line than when Glass was following him. Yeah, I did notice that.
I thought so.
He took the time to change camo jackets. He always carries two, just in case.
The other one's too obvious.
Yeah. Okay, so that night, Elijah. Okay. Oh no, I'm sorry. The next day, David visits Elijah and tells him he almost drowned when he was a kid, thinking it proves that he is not a hero. So that night, Elijah goes and sulks in a comic book shop while the Dunns go out on a date, leaving Joseph home with the babysitter.
Okay, so this is one of Elijah's biggest dick moves.
Yeah.
Like he pulls such a front in the beginning about his art gallery and how precious comic books are, and then he just is an asshole to this comic shop clerk
for no fucking reason.
And his shop for no reason. No reason. Just like I fuck up your store.
Did we mention the scene with the gun?
With the kid, with Joseph?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we miss that?
That was just before this.
Oh crap! Yeah, we skipped that. I'm sorry, Al. Yeah, totally. We skipped the gun scene. Yeah. So before that, at the family's at home in the kitchen, David and Audrey were washing dishes. She tells David about Elijah. Then they find out that Joseph has discovered his dad's gun and is threatening to shoot David to prove he can't be hurt, but David manages to talk Joseph out of it.
He fully loaded that gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he doesn't know where the bullets are. Oh, I know where they are.
Yeah. Well, and they showed the gun earlier in the movie too, which is good form in that sense, like unwrapping it and being like, "Look at the gun."
I'm just going to shoot you once.
Yeah, just once. Yeah, and then it proves that the parental countdown is still the most powerful weapon in the universe. Right. Bruce Willis got to number 2, and he's like, put it down like in such a rage.
So it turns out there was
the cop could shoot the guy in the face.
There was a real life incident with George Reeves when he was out like doing promotional stuff. He was dressed in his Superman outfit, and some kid like pulled a gun on him.
Oh shit!
Because he wanted to see if he was invincible.
Yeah.
And George Reeves managed to convince the kid that the bullet would ricochet off of him and hurt someone else.
That's some quick thinking.
And that's how he got him to not shoot him.
If only he'd been able to convince that woman at that party.
Yeah. Oh, rough.
So anyway.
So that scene, I don't know. It did not have the tension that I think it wanted to have.
The gun scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hated that kid.
Yeah, the kid sucked. I really, really disliked the kid.
Little dickhead.
And like seriously, like the little Spielberg looking fucking haircut like bugged me so much. I kept thinking this is not the haircut that kids have in the year 2000.
No. Yeah, that's true. He tried to make me look exactly. And all right. So then is it the scene in the comic book shop right after the gun scene?
Yeah. Okay, and then he sulks in the comic book shop while the Dunns go on a date.
No, wait. So here's most of the meat of my notes were these few scenes. One thing is the comic book that catches his eye is the Coalition of Evil.
The Coalition.
Well, it was the different title, but that was the name of that particular issue. It's just so I had to look it up just for fun. It's an alliance for combined action, especially temporary alliance of political parties. The Coalition of Evil. They come around with petitions.
Yeah.
Mostly.
They're like, can you vote red for Ed?
Okay, but then before the date, I swear to God, it looked like a scene from The Sixth Sense. Joseph is sitting at his bed with his action figures.
Yeah.
We talked about staring. He's just making his action figures stare at each other. They're not saying anything. They're not doing anything. They're staring each other down. Bruce Willis is standing behind him, not in focus, and behind a door. And then Mom comes in to talk to him, not Bruce Willis. You know, like it felt exactly like that. I was like, wow, looks like Sixth Sense. He's standing behind the door. You can't really see him. He's dead.
Yeah. Well,
Mom is the one talking.
Well, and like, what is the deal with that? Is the kid like, is this just supposed to be like, oh, he's still upset about pulling a gun on his dad?
Let's have a babysitter.
Right. And the kid's like, no,
How's he been doing lately? Oh, he's fine. You know, growing pains. Pulled a gun.
So that's
fully loaded a 6-shooter.
That's new.
Like, I'll only shoot you once. Why is the chamber completely full?
You know, puberty. So
they go on their date.
Yeah, they go on their date. They reconnect.
Well, I want to point out their favorite colors are brown and rust.
Right. Yeah. What the fuck?
That is some white people mayonnaise-y kind of like, this is what they like, right? Brown and rust?
He's down with the brown.
He's like, my favorite is rust. Rust?
Like rust?
I can see why they're together because those colors are not that far off from each other.
Yeah.
Well, the mud spectrum.
Yeah, so let's get to the heart of this. These people kind of suck. Like, not in any like villainous type of way, just in like,
right.
I don't want to hang out with you, David and Audrey.
Audrey.
Like, can you imagine going on a double date with the two of them? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it would be terrible.
What's your favorite song? Like, oh God.
Oh yeah,
what is that?
Like, what's
Soft and Wet by the artist formerly known as Prince.
That was correct.
It's a great answer, though. It's a great answer.
He's shocked. He's like, I thought it was the Ballad of the Green Berets. That's the one you always say.
Yeah. What's your favorite song? The theme from A Summer Place.
He's all.
Marine Corps hymn. I mean, what else?
He's all. Actually, it's not a song. It's a sound my ceiling fan and refrigerator make at the same time.
Sometimes I sing it to myself.
I can listen to that all night.
What's your favorite song? It's Brown.
So
they were written these colors though.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so M. Night Shyamalan might be a terrible writer.
Like, I don't know. There wasn't a lot of I think after your Lady in the Water.
Yeah, no. I really think the best thing he ever wrote probably was Stuart Little.
He wrote that?
Yeah, that was in the credits earlier. Yeah, okay, so David tells Audrey on their date he feels like there's something in his life he's supposed to be doing that he's not, and he's unhappy. Yeah, welcome to life, motherfucker. Jesus.
Yes, exactly.
Get a sports car.
Right. You get a boat.
They arrive home, pay the babysitter, who might be the best character in this movie.
Yeah.
And
I let the machine. That's funny. It made me think to back when that was the machine.
Yeah, like it was a literal machine.
Well, right, but there was the microwave is a machine.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, the answering machine we all knew. Now, do you think kids would be like, "What machine?"
Which
not
one?
Not just answering, not the concept, But even like, there are so many machines all around us.
Yeah, which machine? Are you talking about like Skynet?
Right. Like, no, from the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the machine.
Yeah, and the machine, and it's literally just a tape recorder that you can hook your phone to.
On the machine.
Okay, so she tells them that he got the job in New York. And he listens to the message from Elijah Doolittle.
Elijah Doolittle. The message is
saying, "Hey, Governor, I think you may in fact be a superhero after all." Telling David that he figured out that water is David's kryptonite.
Okay.
So, okay, there's that. David.
Okay, so that's like a lot of things is kryptonite. A lot of things can drown.
Yeah, right.
And to use that, kryptonite, we all know what that means. But Superman's kryptonite was kryptonite.
Well, yes.
Not air or dirt or water. It's like, my only weakness is fire. You don't have any fire around here, do you? No, Superman. Water. I don't know. Anything that can drown, that's their weakness.
Be like, do you mean maybe he just didn't learn to swim? Is that maybe what's going on here?
This is water.
A fire truck. Boom.
Yeah.
You got both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is a great point.
Like,
They do explain that he swallows water too quickly.
I mean,
I do that all the time. It's not my weakness.
Yes, we all do. That's
making him more prone to drowning.
I can't fight while I'm drinking all this water. What?
He's like, I have to pee constantly.
No, but weakness. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
What? I have to fight Aquaman? Ah, damn it.
Nerds.
You tell him to come here. I'm not getting there.
He can go on land, but I can't go in water. This hardly seems fair.
I can't even get in the goddamn pool, man.
Not at all.
Showers are a horror show.
Yeah, so it's like the twist is water.
Thank God for Axe.
Yeah. What if the water and the plants teamed up? That would be. Whew.
So, yeah, does David Dunn take showers or bathe? Or is he like a sponge bath kind of guy?
Well, he spends a lot of time standing in the rain staring at people doing things.
In that huge that huge hot trench coat thing, he probably smells terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, his rain poncho.
Yeah, his hero cape thing.
So yeah, which says
two-sided cape.
Which M. Night Shyamalan actually refers to him as Security. That's his superhero name is Security.
Huh. Wow. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
Mr. Glass and Security. You're like, I've got a 401k. I've got health insurance.
The guy works security. That's
Mr. Glass and Security tonight at Como Hall. One night only.
All right. So David drives out to the building where the destroyed train has been stored to view the wreckage. He flashes back to the night of the car accident, and we see that he used superhuman strength to tear open the car door and save Audrey.
Yeah. Like trucker that comes over. He's like, hey, man, are you hurt? He's like, well, it's hard not to be hurt by Vietnam and Watergate. There's just so much.
Don't even get me started on disco.
Is he okay? I don't know. Is any of us okay?
The actor they got to play young David Dunn was pretty good. It was a good choice, just physically and acting wise.
Yeah, he was.
I heard it was actually Bruce Willis. I heard whatever he used in Looper to go back and forth.
The actor that played young Samuel Jackson looked really good too. By the way, I forgot to mention that earlier. He, like, just facial features wise, he looked just like a young Sam Jackson. So let's see. David calls Elijah and confesses that he faked his injuries in the car crash to get out of being a football player. And he couldn't just stop being a football player.
He was in the literal draft. He couldn't not play.
He could have just clingered it.
I had to move to Canada.
Wear a dress when he's playing.
To get out of combat. Okay.
So, all right. So he asks Elijah what he should do. Elijah tells him to go to a public place and use his psychic powers to find a bad guy.
Go touch a bunch of strangers.
You're like, wouldn't that make me the bad guy?
I have some questions about this because he did the right thing if his goal is to be around a lot of people. He went to the train station,
Sure.
But does he walk like in a circle, or does he kind of just like walk back and forth? How do you do this without looking suspicious and just touch a bunch of people and then take them out of the train station?
I think it helps to have the word security
on your rain poncho.
No, you know what I mean? Like there's another
it's true.
reason for form to the costume. But it is a good question. Like Al said, he is right. This power he had, but it got stronger as he noticed it or what have you. But it gets to the realm of like, what? I didn't know. Like, I don't know. You can see whole events from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And
as if there was a CCTV camera, like the guy that comes into the home,
Yeah.
It looks like it's bird's eye point of view.
Shyamalan.
It's not through the eyes.
Yeah.
Crew.
Yeah. It's not through the eyes of the person he touched. It's all.
Yeah. He doesn't.
Someone observing.
He doesn't see himself sexually assaulting the girl. He sees it from the corner of the room.
Right. So it's not even through the person he touches. It's
God. It's God.
Yeah. It's God, right?
I guarantee M. Night Shyamalan put thought into that and thought it's God showing him this because he is clearly a very spiritually
It's true. And it makes sense because only God would use water.
True.
Against you.
Okay. So yeah, he discovers their nasty secrets, but the worst one, he finds there's a guy who's keeping a family prisoner in their own house. It's a janitor in an orange jumpsuit. So he follows the janitor back to the house. So my notes for this movie, especially in the second half, were like pretty fast because there was a lot of like, oh, this is the scene where he follows the guy. Skip.
It ends
of like 3 minutes of him following a dude in the rain.
Right. And so that guy, all right, he took over their house, kept everyone prisoner. He still went to work. Like what?
Right.
It's very odd. And then he went to work.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Didn't David Berkowitz still go to work?
It's a good point. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, psychopath is psychopath. It's a good point. But yeah.
So
that was all pretty good. That was a good action sequence.
Yeah. It
was very rushed, like we were just saying.
This kind of comes very much just boom, and you're done. He walks in, he saves the kids, gets pushed in the pool, kids pull him out, goes back in, kicks the guy's ass.
But that pool thing that was just terrifying, anyways.
Oh God.
Your weakness didn't have to be water,
right?
The way that was shot was really cool.
Yeah.
It was tense. I'll give him
the shot with the drapery shot when he finds the wife tied to the radiator was cool.
Yeah.
How the opening, it was blowing in the breeze and it would like show her and then him, but he shushes her even though she's clearly unresponsive.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then later, if you look at the news clip that he's showing, both parents were dead. So she was already dead.
Well, and at some point her hands get released and she just kind of falls over and is dead.
Yeah.
She see that. Yeah.
When he shushes her, he doesn't realize she's dead yet, but he also should clearly see that she's not awake.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
For sure.
To to shush, to like kind of a pointless shushing.
Yeah, she's not making a racket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He can clearly see that.
Or looking at him, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dark.
So, yeah, that's it. I mean, it's a really fast one. It was shot well. It was, I mean, I feel like this clearly was like, what if a superhero was real? And he shot it very realistically. It's slow and dry and realistic.
Right. Yeah, that's true. This is I just had the word and lost it, but it's fairly plausible, fairly straightforward. It's not too fantastical.
Yeah, just he knows he's really strong. He doesn't have like superpowers, but he just gets the dude in a chokehold and lets himself get slammed against the wall until the guy passes out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And dies. I think he like gave him a little twist on the neck right at the end.
Yeah.
Might have snapped his neck.
Just fair
to say.
Yeah. So
then he goes home after the big fight, and we see Robin Wright floating, sort of.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, where he's carrying her upstairs. Yeah.
She really could have thrown in a little Mine song, just a little quick one, going up the stairs, just something.
Like,
okay, but I love the next day at the breakfast table.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the way the dad shows Joseph the article.
Yeah, it shows the article proving he
I
really
just thought he was like, it was 2000s. He was like, look, our Lehman Brothers shares are up. It's going to be awesome, Joe.
There's no such thing as a real estate bubble.
It was a bubble all the time.
The bubble was the friends we made along the way. So, yeah.
No, it's the twist.
The twist. He's like, Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction.
Twist.
So sometime later, he goes to a gallery event at Elijah's place and meets Elijah's mom. And he and Elijah...
There was a cool shot, pardon me, of when Mom and David are talking and they look over at Elijah, who's speaking at prospective buyers. There are 3 comic book cover prints, and the one in the middle is Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh.
And so it's the one sort of closest to him. He's positioned right under it, of course, with no intention.
Yeah, but that's cool, really cool.
Yeah, I thought so.
Good catch.
Yeah.
And then it was Thor and Daredevil in the other 2 comics.
Huh.
There it is.
Wow.
There it is.
Okay, so he and Elijah go in private to talk. He tells Elijah what happened. Elijah says it's time to shake hands, and David gets a psychic flash that Elijah caused a plane crash, a fire, and the train crash that David was in an attempt to find a superhero. David turns Elijah in, and we discover through text that Elijah goes to an asylum for the criminally insane.
Wait, Brian, where's it? Oh, there are all these different headlines and clippings in Elijah's lair of different things that he's done. Maybe. But one of them is Mexican mudslide.
Right? Did he cause a mudslide in Mexico? Was he like on a hill with a hose?
I know, this feeble man, or, fragile.
Yeah.
So
he invented a drink.
A mudslide.
Yeah.
It takes out spring breakers across Mexico.
All kidding aside, there was only evidence of 3 acts of terrorism committed by Elijah Price.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you count a fucking crazy psychic vision as evidence.
Yeah.
Well,
he had the bomb making stuff and the schematics and probably stuff on his computer. I think most of the stuff on most of the newspaper clippings on the wall were just like him searching the news for tragedies and hoping to find survivors in these things.
I would imagine.
The on-screen frozen like Law and Order style text told us that they found evidence for those 3.
Yeah, the subtitles, or like at the end of Animal House. what everybody's doing. Flounder.
David Dunn finally got laid.
Yeah, exactly. Otter works for a prominent law firm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's a weird way to end your movie.
It is. Like frozen text. Like it's, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
As Elijah explains us out of the movie.
They call him Mr. Glass.
Yeah. Just shouting, the villain is the opposite of the hero. And usually they're friends.
Yeah,
like us. Like we were.
Do you see the themes? The themes?
When he was earlier, when he was talking to Elijah's mom, who, by the way, the actress is 5 years younger than Samuel Jackson.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anyway, so I don't know if this was mentioned quickly, but she explains the two kinds of villains to us.
Yeah.
Yes.
The soldier villain, and then the brilliant arch enemy who fights with his mind.
Yes. So the
so
Joker
subtle.
or Lex Luthor. Yes.
Yeah, there's Bane, and then there's also Bane.
Well, right. There's literally beating up the hero, but then also, going into battle with the hero directly.
There's Batman and Robin Bane, and then there's Dark Knight Returns Bane.
Yeah,
right. That's true. A Bane for all seasons.
They called me Mr. Bane.
Here's my revenge, and here's who I am.
So yeah,
not Monty Bane, it's Mr. Bane.
No, what is it? It's Dr. Bane.
It's Montgomery J. Bane.
Like it's weird that your name is Bane. What if we were friends? That would have been weird.
So that was the movie. It was simultaneously very long and very short.
Mm. Yeah. It rambled for a while, and then it was all bam.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. A ton of setup, and then bang, we're out.
Yeah. I don't feel like the twists were twists.
No.
Not that they're required in filmmaking, but,
Well, I mean, it being Shyamalan, talking about a twist or not a twist is a fair thing to do.
Yeah. So Water and Elijah was behind the accidents. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Not that shocking.
Yeah, none of it's shocking. It's really like,
especially in this day and age when anyone can drown.
Right. Not like the old days when only a few select could drown. I remember when I first saw it, I didn't realize it was going to be a retelling of a superhero origin. The first time I saw it, I really paid very little attention to it. So I quite enjoyed it the first time I saw it. I think it holds up fairly well. I think it's definitely the best Shyamalan movie that I've seen anyways.
It's better than I remembered. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I know why it's in the list, no question, but it does not feel superhero-y in the way that the other ones we're talking about.
Yeah.
Compared to like last week's X-Men. So it's hard to compare ranking in my mind, but
right. Well, yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
And so that does kind of bring us to the rankings. And
he'd have made a great mystery man.
Right.
Yeah, Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah.
Just security.
He would have had to have worn like a full security like outfit though, like Rent-A-Cop style, Paul Blart style.
Just his work uniform?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that dude works security, and his son just pulled a gun on him a couple nights before, but he did not pat Joseph down before breakfast.
No,
before French toast.
Every father knows you should pat your son down before you sit down for breakfast.
After he's pulled a gun on you.
It's true.
You don't have to preemptively do that, but he's already made move. That's move one.
Move 2
is to make sure he doesn't have the gun.
And then move 3, you put your dick in the box.
All right, ranking best SNL video. Go.
Ranking. So, okay. This one's weird to put on the list, like you kind of just said, Josh. I don't want to put it at the top, though it's clearly one of the best crafted films we have as far as like being like very cinematically shot and all that. But I just...
Yeah, it's not superhero-y.
Yeah, where would you arbitrarily rank it on a superhero movie list?
Right. So I'm thinking...
You're thinking? Yes?
What was that?
You're thinking? No, I was saying go on.
Oh, I'm thinking it should... I'm looking at... And so, okay, there's no way I can put it like below, for instance, The Mask or Mystery Men.
Oh, yeah. No.
Okay.
I can't put it below Orgasmo or The Crow. I mean, this is just clearly a better movie than The Crow.
Okay.
Blade.
No. From I don't know, from a superhero movie list point of view, Blade was a better comic book movie, superhero movie.
Yeah.
Better action movie.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably around that area, like around the Blade and Crow, which are the Blade and the Crow.
That's my favorite English pub. The Blade and Crow.
The Blade. Yeah. Which okay, Blade's at 5. The Crow is at 6. What are your thoughts, Al?
I could comfortably put this at number 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just below Blade.
I'm comfortable.
All right.
Yeah.
I think
I'm into it.
I think that's all right.
Sitting the way back.
Let's do it then. Unbreakable goes in.
Unbreakable.
I made my phone recognize Unbreakable with like 7 U's. And now it wants to autocorrect that every time. So Unbreakable going in at
every time you're texting that.
Every time I put Unbreakable, it wants to autocorrect it to like 7 U's.
We pick up some bread. That request is unbreakable.
All right, there we go. Unbreakable at number 6 on our list. And that means it's time to reveal next week's movie. The next movie in our timeline. Our only movie from 2001.
Oh.
Citizen Toxie, The Toxic Avenger 4. We're going back to Tromaville. And I looked originally I had it in 2000, but that was its con release. It was released in theaters in the United States in 2001.
Yes, naturally. There's always a hitch.
Yeah. So next week we're going back to Tromaville, boys, for one last time.
Disgusting.
And then, so that's next week. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks to our patrons. This has been Thoreau Smiley. I'm just going to walk into your house and take it.
I'm Josh Cece, and hey, I got to get some chicken in me.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm going to go hide from security in my pool drinking Mexican mudslides.
I'm Alaric Weber. Now all I need is your credit card number.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Harmless Phosphorescence was brought to you by executive producers Atticus Burkett and Michael Beckwith, and producers Alyssa Dent, Hedda Paulson, and Jojo Birchtree. Harmless Phosphorescence is a production of the Harmless Entertainment Network.